VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question. Who really deserved the MVP this year? And I think the answer is actually obvious. It was Nikola Jokic. He just won, as of this recording, the first game in the Western Conference Finals with a 34-point, 21-rebound, 14-assist game, 132 over 126 against the Lakers. And, despite whatever controversies he would have faced for being a three-time straight MVP, which did not happen, it's clear to say he deserved the MVP. His closest competition to me was Giannis, who lost in the first round, and Embiid, who imploded in the second. And who obviously Embiid won the MVP this year. But it's clear Jokic should have. And in my opinion, this was kind of a makeup call. I think Embiid deserved the MVP more last year. Jokic was on the team that was a 6 seed and very rarely have a team with a non-top 4 seed won an MVP. I think the only times were Jokic that year, Westbrook the year that he won it, and then you got to go back to like Moses Malone. It doesn't happen that often, and I don't think Jokic should have got it last year. And I think that was a lot of controversy. And I think, I guess the elephant in the room is there may have been a quote-unquote racial element to it. I know Kendrick Perkins was very critical of how Jokic was being portrayed. And honestly, sometimes two things can be true at once, where a guy is being overhyped and then a guy is actually still good. And I definitely think there was some of that with Jokic, and there was also some criticism because he hadn't really won. And it's just like a very biased narrative. And I feel like the media, once that criticism was laid on him, did not want to be seen as, because a lot of media, hate to put on my fucking Fandom Menace MAGA mask on, but a lot of media is woke. And I think they didn't want to be seen to be given a straight white male, and I am being sarcastic when I say these things like that, but they didn't want to give a straight white male a MVP. And I don't know if that's much the case. I mean, Embiid also, won a scoring title and was a top-tier defender. So, I mean, there's an argument he also still deserved it this year. Like I said, it was pretty close between Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid. I think all three could have gotten the MVP, and there was an argument for it. But when you look at the playoff result and you look at where we are, Jokic is further along. By the way, I am being somewhat sarcastic about the racial stuff. Even though, I think there's something to it. But like the woke and all that other shit. But you know what? I myself was pretty critical of Jokic. I'm critical of how good or bad of a defender he can be throughout the regular season. I also just thought it was just, what happens with a lot of this, I don't know if there's a racial element to it. It may be, but like I said, they sometimes just overhype a guy. And they just talk Jokic up, and he doesn't have to win. There's no pressure on him put to win. There was more pressure on Russell Westbrook, a guy who's clearly outside of his prime, even though he still has some productivity left. But he was supposed to be the third best player on a team, and there was more pressure on him to win than there was Jokic. And I think that just rubs people the wrong way. We'll get into this a little bit when I talk about Lomachenko and Haiti in another video, which may have been released before this video, I'm not sure. But there is that feeling like, okay, this guy is great. This guy is Hall of Fame level. Very good. You don't have to put that hot sauce on it. You don't have to talk somebody up so much. And don't get me wrong, Jokic, his efficiency numbers, 60+% shooting percentage and the assist and the rebounds, but it was like, well, he stat pads too. Everyone does in this league. And you know what? Fucking Vucevic is, speaking of white guys, Vucevic bust his ass late in the season, and it was clear to see that some of these centers and some of these bigs don't necessarily fear Jokic as a defender. And hell, even this game, even though the Nuggets won, Anthony Davis went off for 40 and 10. So there is, the jury's still out on Jokic as a consistent defender, and we're in a league where the center has to be a great defender. There's no way you can exist without your center doing most of the heavy lifting as far as defense and rim protection. So, the jury's still out on that with Jokic. throughout the regular season, he got a couple of times. It didn't seem like he was held to the same standard as everybody else. That was definitely a feeling for the media coverage, that he was just gifted an MVP and he's just gonna win 3 straight MVPs. And I think that's why they reversed course very late. I think they got scared. They got cold feet. They didn't want another quote unquote Steve Nash situation where it's clear that Kobe definitely deserved one of his MVPs, and they didn't want to be looked at years from now like, oh, they just gave Jokic a bunch of MVPs. But now they still, it's almost like a Greek tragedy, like Oedipus or something. You avoid it and you cause the situation anyway, because I think they're going to be looked back, especially if Jokic goes to the finals and wins it. This is going to be looked at like an Hakeem situation where Hakeem lost the MVP to David Robinson and then proceeded to bust his ass in that game and in that series. So now they're going to be looked at, oh, they kind of gifted Embiid an MVP he didn't deserve, and he's kind of a choke artist. And another video that will be released, hopefully, depending on the order of when you see these. But yeah, now it's going to be looked at as a bad decision on to who won the MVP. So it's still, you voters will live in infamy. So what do you guys think? Do you think there was a racial component? That I hate to, I'm not Jason Whitlock, man. I ain't trying to go like, what's the dude, Jesse Lee Peterson, where I think Jesse Lee Peterson, man, he got some middle issues. I know some people like him, but I'm not one of them. I'm not trying to just defend white people. I'm laughing because it's so stupid to me, but I'm keeping this in. I'm not just defending him because he's white. I'm trying to be objective. I think he should have won the MVP this year, but he didn't deserve it last year. I think this is a makeup call. And ironically enough, regardless of the reasons for that makeup call, I think the voters are going to live in infamy for giving Embiid this MVP, especially if Jokic keeps going at the pace he's going. So you tell me what you think. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. And by the way, I do not take racism as a joke. This is a lot of serious shit, a lot of fucked up shit. I was watching some shit about a rancher going through it in Colorado, I believe. So I'm not like, I'm not that guy either. But I just think in this situation, if you can't have a little fun with it, what do you do? But I know there's new subs. I've got more new subs and more new viewers than usual. And so if you don't understand the context of my humor, I apologize. But that's that. So what do you guys think?